Will Kingdom Rush battles have Dark Army heroes, taros? There are any possibilities for them making an entrance in future? Today's video is gonna be very much special as we have two of the main working people behind Kingdom Rush Battle, which is the upcoming Ironhide Game Studios and full-stellar Ironhide Game Studios multiplayer game. And in this entire video, I'll be gathering answers to the questions I have decided to ask, which would determine the future of Kingdom Rush Battles. As we are here, would you like to introduce yourself to the viewers before we start?
Yeah, sure. Well, nice to meet you all. I'm Juan, or John P on Discord. You probably meet me there already. And well, I'm the producer of Kingdom Rush Battles. I've been in the project since the very beginning, one of the OGs. And well, been at Ironhide for something like 15 years, maybe a little less, but something like that. Started as an artist and did all the way from star artist, lead artist, and so on, and worked on several projects. Like, I think the first Kingdom Rush Steam version, then Kingdom Rush Frontiers, Origins, Vengeance, and but also Iron Marines and the lovely Jam World. So that's kind of my backstory.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Juan Manuel, aka Juancho. You probably already seen me in the Discord too. I'm a game designer, part of the design team for Kingdom Rush Battles. I've been at the company probably a little under 2 years. I joined straight into the Kingdom Rush Battles team when the prototype phase was over and we were starting full-on development. And it's been quite a ride since the beginning up until this point. And yeah, we work on everything from the balance of the game to the in-game economy to a little bit of user experience and UI testing. But yeah, that's me.
So let's start off with the first question. When did the development of Kingdom Rush Battles begin? And how many people have worked behind this amazing game, Kingdom Rush Battles, so far?
Okay, I'm taking this one. For the development, I don't have a specific date because it was pretty much organic at the beginning, but I can say it's been more than 2 years now in development. We started as a small team trying to discover what Kingdom Rush multiplayer is. You know, we had this idea for a lot of years, many of us, but we didn't have a clear answer. And that means we had to do a ton of prototypes with a small team, just myself, the lead developer, artist, and game designer, working really close to Pablo Gonza, the directors, and some other people from the company. And just that part of the process took almost a year until we decided which was the best prototype, not just because of the gameplay, but also we had to be realistic. This is the first time we work with a multiplayer thing, so we choose the one that we felt had gameplay potential, but also it's achievable by us. And from that point, we start to grow in the team. Well, Juancho came, I think 1 year later we started, and right now we are almost 15 people. Like, that's the Kingdom Rush Battle teams, but also we work with some people from other teams and directors, so a lot of people from the company help us, and we also have some partners from outside that help us to go through the technical challenges. When doing a multiplayer game is no easy at all. So yeah, it's more like 15 people and maybe 10 more people from outside the team who constantly help us, and also the community which is there.
Like Juan said, I joined the company a little bit later after the prototype phase, but I can vouch and say that there were several versions of this game before the one we know today, and some of them are actually quite fun. And we have considered.
Here we got to know a little bit more about future of the game, which shouldn't be spoiled, so you won't hear it.
Spoilers! I'm hearing spoilers already in the first question.
We couldn't hold it for one question.
Juancho is a spoiler guy, so we have to be careful about him.
Can't help myself.
That's actually really great to hear, just by the fact as how of the development started, and right now there are around 25 people, let's consider. So as for the second question, what were one of the main goals of the Kingdom Rush Battles while creating it, and what are the things you love the most about Kingdom Rush Battles?
This is a great question. It's pretty broad, covers a lot of stuff. But about the main goals, something we would like to explore at the beginning was other ways to play Kingdom Rush that we have like dreaming in for years, like Kingdom Rush multiplayer. That's something we wanted to try, but we were not ready because we wasn't big enough, or we didn't have the expertise yet, and this felt like the right moment to try. So that's like the kickstart of the idea. Okay, we want to explore this thing, how it will work. And I'm not talking shoutouts just about PvP multiplayer, but also cooperative, the clans and all that social features that we would love to have in this kind of game. And Kingdom Rush is a pretty much single player experience, so this is like the place we would like to cover that. And there's also that we wanted to have a lot of Kingdom Rush cards, heroes, towers all mixed together, and that's not really much possible in all the games because of the lore and the canon and so on. So this is a play where we can experiment with that. That's something we always also like to try. And last but not least, we want to try something like faster. Kingdom Rush usually takes a lot of time to play, like 15 minutes or so for a match. So we wanted to try something more portable, if that's the word, like something to play on the go. That's why we choose the portrait mode. It's a challenge itself because Kingdom Rush just works flawlessly on landscape mode. So yeah, it was first of all multiplayer, then trying to have all the cards and all the towers and everything from all our games, and make it faster, like a blitz experience from Kingdom Rush, but always being careful to not mess with the experience. This has to be Kingdom Rush. That's something that we never went too far from that. It's one of the rules. It has to be Kingdom Rush, and if it doesn't, then we are doing it wrong. So that was mainly the goals. And second part, you mentioned favorite things about Kingdom Rush Battles. Then for me personally, I love the private PvP, and that's something we only couldn't show between ourselves, so against you, the testers, but it's not public yet. But I love it. I love to compete against my friends and so on. I think it's a really powerful feature, and how to get it into the public build as soon as possible. And the other part is being able to try, really crazy card combination from all over the games. It was kind of a dream for me. I know there's some unofficial modes nowadays where you can do that, but now it's like we are doing it in our own product, which for me is really awesome. So yeah, that's pretty much what I like about Battles.
Yeah, I completely agree with Juan. It's a mix of being able to combine all the previous games into a single all-stars roster, and also the other part, having the ability to compete and share the experience with other people is amazing. And in that regard, and like Juan said, we are really looking forward to being able to add, social features, cooperative mode, private matches, and all of that. But I guess the time will come for that when we're able to do it.
That sounds awesome.
And maybe I got you unprepared, but do you have something like favorite in Kingdom Rush Battles yet? I may ask.
Yes, for me, it's the experience overall, to be honest. As for me, I have been playing Kingdom Rush games for a pretty long time. And even me and the community itself has always thought of different different concepts of how Kingdom Rush multiplayer could work. And just being able to experience that in an actual Kingdom Rush multiplayer game is personally my favorite part of the game. But moreover, I also love how simple the game feels like, but how much great experience you can get from each of the matches. And sometimes you just get really real players now can be found, which is actually really awesome. I have faced many real players, and it puts a different level of experience, which I really enjoy about the game at the moment.
True, true. The game is changing a lot. Once we open the range for PvP, it's like became a really different thing, which is awesome too.
Yeah, human opponents really feel different in how to play.
As we move on to the third question, it's going to be, as Kingdom Rush Battles has already made it to its soft launch, the second phase, when should we expect the global release? By when? It's fine if you don't say the exact date or anything. I would definitely say changes can be made on that. But when should we expect it? And are there a few things which you would like to add as the majority part of the game before going release? For an example, more arenas or maybe social features or something like so?
Okay, yeah, this is one thing we have to take care of with action, because we don't want to generate false expectations here. So what we can say is that we plan to deliver by this year. That's the idea. Mostly from a business point of view, we have to deliver soon. But on the other hand, we are going step by step, and you have been testing this for long, so you know that we are doing small steps, tweaking, going back and forth, trying to improve. We want to make sure that everything is perfect. Once you go global, you only have one shot, and if you don't do it right, then you will go into it's kind of a nightmare, for multiplayer games to release and not work properly. So
that's true.
Took this very seriously. We try and test and try to be as safe as possible. And this took time, we have a small team, and most of the time we are trying to fix and improve what we already done. And in parallel, we are working on new features. And we have certain features that we know we have to get into the game before going global. So it's kind of a big challenge here. I'm not really sure, to be honest, but should be by this year. That's the idea. About features, and it depends a lot on how the game performs in this soft launch, and also team performance. We would like to put as much features as we want, but we have to be realistic. There's some limits that about the development time and difficulty even of the tasks. So even if we would like to get everything into the game, probably we are getting a couple of big features, and maybe I'm spoiling a little here, but we are putting the events on the table. And by events, I mean different ways of play the game, adding more gameplay, not just the trophy roll, the main source of matches and prizes, but also having other plays to play with different rules, also different prices. We need this, if you Prahant, I'm probably sure you are aware that people has been asking for more gold and more prices.
Yes.
Just put that into the actual game without inflating everything. That would create an issue for the mid and long-term game economy. So we need different sources of prices. That's why events are ideal for this. You will have a place to get more prices without destroying the in-game economy, and also different ways to play the game. So if you get stuck in the main campaign or trophy road, call it as you want, you can go into the events, farm some gold, level up your cards, or even play with different rules and have some fun. That's the idea. For me, that's a good global launch. And if we have time, I will work a little in the stadium. The stadium for me is really important for the end game and engaged players. We are all there, fight against each other. So I think there's a little to tweak in there, putting some prizes, better leaderboards and so on. But again, take this as an idea, not as something that is written in stone, because it depends a lot on how things goes.
I don't have much to add to that, since Juan's pretty much the boss here, so he calls the shots. But we have a giant wish list of features and content and terrains and a lot of different ideas. We'd love to have everything in the game as soon as possible, but we have to be realistic of the amount of work we are able to deliver as a relatively small team. So we have to be careful and also be sure that everything we add to the game will add to the experience and not detract from it.
That sounds very much fair as an answer I would consider. There is one question I find kind of concerning from the community itself, and which is, will the game still receive updates after it goes into global? So we were thinking, made it into global, and now how often or will it receive more updates once it's global?
Yeah, I think it's a valid question because Kingdom Rush update flow is not regular, it's kind of different from the compared to the rest of the industry. So I know where this question comes from, but this product is quite different. Global launch should mean the first step, is not the end at all. We're thinking about this in mid and long term. We hope the game is sustainable and allow us to keep working on it. But the ideal scenario, and what we are aiming for, is to keep this thing alive for many years and constantly pushing new content. So yeah, don't think about global launch as okay, now the game is finished, but straightly the opposite. It has started, so
Yes.
we will be pushing new content, updates, fix, and tweaks as long as possible. Go on, Funch.
Sorry, I was about to spoil something. Can I?
Do it.
Yeah, I was about to say that we might already be working on content that will be released post global launch. So yeah, that would pretty much confirm that we are full on working to continue delivering after the global up release.
Yes, with hearing that, I would say community and the people who are watching this video will feel how much more relieved and excited for the game's global launch. So, as we go much further, does Kingdom Rush Battle have any lore?
I think that I will give this one to you, Juancho.
Uh,
Designers
well,
are kind of the guardians of the lore, so I think
yeah, we have a big backlog of lore to address. But to answer your question, Prahant, not officially. We don't have a set lore for the game, but I do think that many of us at the company have some form of headcanon of exactly how and when and where and what is exactly happening in the game. But yeah, I think it's never going to be, something official in the history of the games, but we do have ideas, to add original content to our game that may end up being a part of the lore, maybe retroactively, and appear on future games. But yeah, officially, no, it's nowhere in the lore, so to speak.
if I may add, we maybe push some limits here, because we are thinking always about fun and possibilities. So there's some rules we have to break. We try to make sense in our decisions, like make completely weird stuff. We try to respect our history, but yeah, you could find some things that may not fit into the official lore time to time, because we want everyone to fight against everyone. That's a really cool thing about battles, but that also means that it's complicated to put into the official lore.
I had to ask this question. As a person dived deep into the lore, this question was just obvious, and I'm very much happy with the answer. It was perfect.
So, as we move on further, will Kingdom Rush Battle's development have any kind of effect on Kingdom Rush Alliance and any other Kingdom Rush game which is already being made or have an update planned or something like so?
Well, yes and no. And it's quite of an open answer. But why? Because in terms of production, we are separate teams. So, both games are keep alive and running healthy, and Kingdom Rush main saga will get updates and so on, and we are keep working on battles. On the other hand, I think in the ideal world, we'll have some kind of collaborations and cross promotions, and some events from the Kingdom Rush Alliance could get into battles. For example, if they release a new update, then we can see those characters in battles, and otherwise that will be awesome for me. But it's just I'm thinking out loud, So production, no, separate teams, separate lanes. In terms of product and history and characters and content and so on, I hope we can work together.
Yeah, and like I said before, at the design team, we would love if we could, also create original content that eventually gets added to the single player games. instead of it always being the other way around. Us adding content that was previously created to our game.
This was like personally my question, which I really wanted to know more about. It's will King Rush battles have Dark Army heroes, towers, or even spell? As I personally am a huge Dark Army fan over here, I really like Dark Army characters, so I would really love to know if there are any possibilities for them making an entrance in future.
Yes.
This is exactly what we needed.
That's
Actually, if you notice, there are some clues around. Some people already described some of the things we are planning, maybe in the screenshots of the stores or inside the game assets. So I don't want to spoil anything, but that would be my answer.
That's a fair answer, and it has gotten me hyped.
Let's keep Quancho quiet in this one.
Yeah.
He's dying to spoil everything, but
This question is not much more needed to ask, as I would consider it has been answered. But will Kingdom Rush Battle have more game modes in the game? For an example, a 2v2, as everyone has been asking for it so far, and even an endless mode.
yeah, I mean, you already said it. We already covered this, but everything is on the table. We want to have all the modes and everything we love, but it takes a lot of work. If you notice, some of the games which are already established, like, I don't know, Rush Royale or whatever, they took years to have all of these events, so it will take a lot of work, but we plan to get them all. If this thing works as expected, we will get, private PvP, co-op, endless, and so on. So yeah, we will love to.
Yeah, pretty much every feature or pretty much every game mode you mentioned has crossed our minds already. It's probably just a matter of finding, the right moment to add it to the game.
We even think about multiplayer cooperative campaigns. There's a lot of awesome stuff and ideas from the team, but yeah, it takes a lot of work.
One of the very important questions, how can the community help in the growth of Kingdom Rush Battles and make it reach to its full potential? What are the ways community can support at the moment? And what would you like to tell to the community or the people who are watching this video at the moment?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that at least myself, I'm probably as excited and anxious as all the community. We love the game. We are fans of Kingdom Rush since forever. So I want to make sure that we are doing our really best to make this game awesome. We are the first in the line that want that. Everyone in the community should know that by now. We've been in Discord discussing from a lot of time, so we put all our energy in there. And we love the community and the positive vibes they send to us. We use that as an energy to keep working and pushing ourselves to the limit. So every time someone in the community reaches us with feedback and great attitude and so on, this really helps us to keep pushing. Sometimes this is really stressful, and difficult in this kind of support. On a personal level, at least for me, is super helpful. I love it. And how they could keep helping as they are doing already, getting through Discord, which I would like to invite all of the guys and everyone looking at this video. If you are not on Discord, you can come, you are welcome. And also you can subscribe to Prahant's channel. He has been covering, the latest news, which is really useful because maybe you don't notice, but the things you are explaining here are also reaching a lot of people, so it's really helpful for us. But yes, it's all about, getting in touch with us through Discord, through our channels, and also like giving us reviews. It's really helpful for the game in the stores. I feel like a YouTuber asking for likes, but it's something really important. Maybe it doesn't look like, but for us it's really helpful. It helps the game to get visibility in the stores. So yeah, it's pretty much keep doing what you're already doing, and we're really glad we have this community and it's really helping us.
Pretty much what Juan said. Having such a passionate community and player base is just amazing for us. It really does help us a lot to get feedback and to be able to fine tune the game. Not just in a testing sense, not just making sure the game works, but also finding different ways to play the game and maybe strategies we hadn't thought of, because as much as we have played this game, and we have played it quite a lot already, the community always finds new synergies and new things that we might have never imagined. So that's extremely helpful, and it's an extreme blessing to have people playing like that. But also, on a personal sense, watching people engage with the game you've been working on for so long it's just magic. Watching a community, a meta game, even jokes and memes pop up. It's incredible. It's truly awesome.
That's very great to hear. So, as you heard it, go and join Ironhide Game Studio's Discord server, which I will link in the description, and like and subscribe. So, as we go further, I would also like to ask the final question. If you were in Kingdom Rush Universe, would you be part of a Linerian army or the Dark Army? This has been a kind of theme which I have been setting off from last year, as I ask this question to mostly everyone who I meet from Ironhide Game Studios. So
it's a tough one, If you asked me about this a couple of years ago, I would answer really differently. But now, maybe because I'm getting older, I'm starting to respect more Linerian values like peace and so on. And I feel myself like Bethnan going through the alliance, Maybe he started to like and enjoy the beauty of Linerian forest and so on. But yeah, for me today, I think I'm more on a Linerian side.
Okay. Yeah, it's a really tough choice, and especially because every part of the game is our baby, so to speak. So it's hard to choose, between your sons. But if I had to pick, I feel like the Dark Army, at least mechanically, is the most fun to play as. So I'd tip the scale that way. Yeah.
I personally enjoy both sides. After seeing Alliance coming into the game, I had a real big change in perspective in both of the faction, how both of the faction are working together, and that also puts me in a tough situation. Sometimes I like Linerian, sometimes I like Dark Army, but yeah. So those were all of the questions. Is there anything you would like to tell to the viewers at the end?
No, I would like to thanks for all what you gave us through the testing. Not just you, Prahant, but all the testers. I cannot name them all because there's a lot of guys, but they will know who we're talking about, and also, all the people that support us, not just Kingdom Rush Battles, but all the Ironhide community, which is awesome, is something that really makes the difference between us and other kind of companies and games. And stay strong, we will publish sooner or later, so just stay tuned, and we promise we will do our best to make this game the best version of it.
Yeah, likewise. I think there's a huge thank to give out to all the testers that have been here since the beginning, and also I want to thank you for keeping the secret shut. And you cannot imagine how much fun it's been for us to watch the drama unfold when people found the game and said it was
which is already there.
Yeah, people saying it's a cheap clone, and people saying it might be a copy, but it's actually kind of fun, and on the inside we were dying just to reveal it, and we couldn't. But thank you for also not talking about it before it's time.
So this was the entire Q&A interview, whatever you like to call, with the DEVS of Kingdom Rush Battles. It was such an amazing experience. I never imagined myself to be here, and it wouldn't have been possible if Ironhide Game Studio gave me this opportunity and all of the support I get from you guys, whether that's from watching the video, liking it, commenting on it, subscribing. All part of it just fuels me to create even more greater content for future. And also just make sure that whatever the devs may have mentioned, it's not like it's 100% going to happen. They also need the time, and they will also take the best of themselves to just add the things which they have in mind as per the roadmap they have for their own selves, and so much more. So consider subscribing. Go and check out Kingdom Rush Battles. You can play it. It's out in soft launch. Stay tuned for more updates, and until there, keep on rushing.